What's up, guys? Chris with Croft CNC and CNC for Newbies. Just wanted to do a video showing you guys the closed loop wiring setup for the PLH3D CNC adapter, and then the Opt Laser 6-watt laser head on the Automatic Toolchanger spindle on the 4896 rack and pinion CNC for Newbies machine. We are running UCCNC 1.2115 with the messenger plugin. We have closed loop stepper control. We have automatic tool changer on it. Everything's integrated, everything's opto isolated. So adding in the laser was pretty cool. It was a little bit of a task to set up UCCNC and get it to fire right. Once I did it, I understand where my mistake was. It wasn't anything with the software. Obviously, it was something I was doing. We have since tested having the laser and the spindle running together, and it works out fine on the same profile. But what I'm getting ready to show you is a secondary profile setup that I did, and it was actually really easy, and there's a few caveats that I found in UCCNC that might help some other people, or it might just be my setup. One thing that I found with working on CNC machines through the years is what works for 90% of the people, there may be a 10% population that it doesn't work for because of your computer setup. So with that being said, I'll go over my system and kind of show you where I'm at with things. All right, guys, since this was the prototype setup, I'll go ahead and go through and show you guys what all we have here. Basically, on this side over here is automatic tool changer stuff. On this side is closed loop controller stuff and laser. I'm running a Quieter 2Q fanless computer. It's a single board computer running Windows 11. I also have Vectric Aspire loaded on it, and UCCNC 1.2113 and 1.2115, because we do transition between the two versions for different projects. We have the VFD located in the control box area. One thing to note, you'll see this ground wire here. It's I've come to find out it's very important that you have all the grounds and drains tied into a nice, good direct to earth bonded ground. So that's what that's for. But the laser, we have the PLH3D adapter. It has 2-wire input. It has the 5-wire output. It is powered through the AC adapter. So if I turn it on with the key, I've got my power LED. I hit my arm button. It's now armed. I do my blast, and you can see that the laser comes on full power. And you can see the different test burns. So where a lot of people run into issues is they think they need a 0 to 10 volt setup for their controller. You can use it in PWM mode. As I turn this off and I turn it back on, you will see I have the one LED on the laser lit telling me what mode it's in. So all the enables are any, so I don't have to have a high, low, or a toggle enable 1, enable 2 on the input side. On top of that, I'm using a UC300 with the LPT5 Ethernet board. It breaks out into 5 parallel port card slots. I am using 2 of them right now. That's my main control board. This is my secondary for input output, and my 5th and 6th access drivers, because this machine does do rotary and trunnion table. So right in here you can see I have that's a Cnc4PC C10 breakout board, all opto-isolated and buffered. I have my brown wire, which is the PWM input, to pin 17, and I have the white wire to the ground. That's very important. You want it to go to ground on the board, thereby associating it with the proper power supplies. All of the power supplies that I have, the grounds, the DC voltage grounds, are all daisy chained, so that you have an equal potential to ground. It's very important that everything in this system has an equal potential to ground, so that you do not have electrical noise. And then on top of that, everything, it goes to a ground here, and then the machine itself is grounded to an earth ground right outside of the garage door. Then on top of that, this is my UC-CNC platform. We're using the neon screen set for 2115. All right, so we're gonna go to settings, and in the settings tab, I go to IO setup. I have my laser output set to 17 port 3, because my C10 board is on port 3 on the Ethernet LPT5 breakout board. Okay, so that's that setup. If I go to spindle, you can see PWM spindle is not checked, and I do not have anything listed there. All right, when you use UC-CNC software and you put this in, that will automatically list that as an LPT port. Okay, so you go to IO setup. On this, it's page 1. On 2113, it's just under IO setup. And then, as you can see, spindle, that's all my spindle setup. Now, I did put my spindle velocity to 255 and 0.001. So if I go to 0, I can actually turn the laser off. If I go to 0.1%, it will actually give me a very dim, or 1%, it'll give me a very dim light. So my duty cycles I set to 0 and 100%. I hit apply and save settings, and I go to my main screen. And now, for all rights and purposes, if the machine is homed and everything, I can set my work offsets and I can fire my laser. Now, the laser is a little bit different in UC-CNC. To get PWM control, you need to turn the laser on with an M3 command. That activates the box, that activates the laser. Okay, it is now able to be turned on, but I need to set an M10 Q100. Oh, all right, M10 Q100. Okay, so now if I hit enter, All right, with this being armed, you have to arm the system. I can come up, I can type in M3, enter. That arms the system. My quote-unquote spindle setup is now highlighted. The laser is armed, it is ready to fire. In the command screen, I need to issue an M10 Q. Whatever number you put in Q is going to be the associated PWM number 0 to 255. All right, so M255 would be max power. 255, enter, laser's going. And I don't have anything done right now, but you can see. Then I can press enter and issue an M11 code, and that turns off the laser. Okay, so now I type in an M10 Q 35, and I have a very light setup. Okay, so obviously the laser itself is not focused in or anything like that, but I can issue M11, laser's off. Still armed, but off. So whenever you're writing your post processor for, say, Vectric or anything like that, you need to make sure that it has a code that issues an M3 and an M10, M11, M5. It needs an M3 header, an M5 footer, and then the actual variable frequency will be issued in an M10 Q ... Then to turn it off, it will be an M11. So if I wanted to do a triangular vector, I would move over with an M3 active, then I would issue my M10 and do my vector, then I would issue an M11 and it would turn it off, and I would be able to go over here and do a circle, which once it got over here, it would issue another M10. All right, and that's pretty much it. I'll go over the post processor that I tweaked a little bit for UC-CNC. It's actually based on an Aspire or a Vectric post processor for Mach 2, Mach 3. And I'll show you where we go from there. And that's about it, guys. And just so you know, I have a little friend out here with me. Look at that bad boy, right up there. He wants to be part of the CNC community. But big project for today is going to be lasering a tabletop. Once I have the Louis Vuitton lasering on it, we're then going to go back and we're going to put a Louis Vuitton logo on one side and then the family's name on the other side. We're going to do some epoxy fill to it and then put the metal legs on it that I cut with the plasma cutter. And that, my friends, is going to be the first big project on the new closed loop system for the Opt Laser. So we have the big closed loop system. So far I've been able to get this up to just under 3,000 inches per minute without losing anything that I feel is necessary. We did have it up to almost 5,000. It is a 3-to-1 reduction. and I have a few other tweaks to it, but that's basically that. We have a ball screw Z with the closed loop on that, and then each of the rotary axis, which I'll be using for laser also, I can use these to actually laser on round, or in my case I do a lot of axe handles, and I do them on this, and I put names and designs on them and stuff. So those actually have one of my closed loop, let's see here, there we go, one of my closed loop drivers to drive that, and it's fully closed loop for the rotary axis and the trunnion table setups. I like them, they work out great. So yeah. Well guys, that was the overview of the Opt Laser hooked up to the new closed loop Cnc4newbies Pro machine setup, the Pro controller. The next order of business is we will be connecting the Opt Laser to the second type of controller that we have. Once again, Quieter 2Q. This is a full open loop control box, and underneath we have pinouts for PWM based on the SV2 breakout board. Okay, and that gives quite an output also, and that will be in the next video with this machine. So the table on this actually floats horizontally and allows me to store it vertically, because I moved to Miami, and as a lot of people who follow me know, I went from 54,000 square feet of industrial space to a one-car garage in Miami. So from Pennsylvania to Miami has been quite a change, but we're gonna make it work, and it's gonna be fun. We've got a lot of stuff going on over at Cnc4newbies. We've got a lot of stuff going on with the Opt Laser head. You know, we're really excited about that. The guys over at Cnc4newbies really love Opt Laser, and that's that. All right, later guys.